Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I think I once again request all of you to please come forward, sit, so that we have a close interaction. Very few people are around, so at least join all the team. And I request Manjushri, next time let's have a more number of team members in organization. I can see those pink coats, so we'll have more delegates also.
They are pink beauties, not coats.
Beauties. Friends, I think I always like to quote when it comes to a panel discussion is hardship often prepare ordinary people for an extraordinary destiny. And I think every time when we invite panelists, I think they are the extraordinary people for the extraordinary destiny, where we are going to do this on infertility, which is case-based discussion. And this is what I expect from my panelists. All the panelists, have a look. This is what you have to do the part. So you need to wave our boat to the final good take-home messages together in a synchrony. But I always request my panelists that please, it's a kind request that please give exact practice guidelines, what you do in your practice. What evidence is our job, but please tell us about the evidence. Introduction.
Yeah. May I request all are very good friends of mine, including Kundan. We moderate quite a lot of panel discussions together. And it's wonderful to be together with Kundan. So, first of all, I would like to invite my international faculty, Dr. Pooja Vaswani, whom I know since my registrarship days, and we are very, very close. So, Pooja, please give her a big hand of applause. She had come all the way from Abu Dhabi to attend this conference as an international faculty. Yeah, next on row is another good friend of mine, Dr. Nalini Bagul, madam. Please come. She's a senior AIT consultant from Nashik.
Yeah.
She will join us.
Yeah.
She's in meeting, AMOG's meeting right now. And then next is again Dr. Darshana Pawar, who had an international expertise, but now practicing in Nagpur as a senior consultant since almost, how many years? 10 years. 10 years now, a decade, as an AIT consultant. Next, another very good friend and sister to me is Dr. Charu Baheti, AIT consultant from Nagpur. Please do come. Dr. Kalyan, is he here or in meeting? As AMOG's important meeting is going on, he will also join them. Then I would like to invite our own young Dr. Bhushan Murke, AIT consultant, to come here and guide everyone. Give a big round of applause. He is very gentle and witty. He is smart and humble also at the same time. And next on the row is Dr. Bala Sahib Khadbade. Is he here?
No, it's not there. Yeah.
Okay. So our panel is looking little less. Can I ask Dr. Pankaj Mate and Dr. Ajit? Yeah, please come and join the panel as an expert. Because we have few scopy things also. Dr. Khurd also can come. How can I forget Chaitanya? And you know.
Please join Chaitanya.
Yes. Please join. And I am always honored, should I say? I am always, and I feel privileged that I have taught Chaitanya in my IGMC days. Isn't it, Chaitan? And I am really privileged and always feel proud to see you growing leaps and bounds. So coming.
Yeah, I just once again request all of you, crisp answers, take home messages, what you do in your practice. Okay, so just one by one. Okay, go ahead.
And we had not shared anything with any of the panelists, just to whatever you do in your consulting, we want that to be known. So she's a 32-year-old woman, married since 3 years, husband 35 years. She's with a height of 5'3" and 54 of weight. Calculate BMI for yourself. And she has irregular cycles coming at 45-60 days, lasting for 3 days. And hypomenorrhea, she's nulligravida, trying to conceive. You are getting it there, Pooja. So you can read it there. So she's trying to conceive since 2 years. Husband semen analysis is normal. HSG showing bilateral normal patent tubes. On hormonal examination, FSH is 6.78, LH is 9.23 day 2. and rest is normal. She has undergone 3 ovulation induction cycle with clomiphene. First cycle, no follicular growth with 50 milligram, same so with 100 milligram, and also in third cycle. So what you are going to go next? Would you like to answer, Pooja? Yeah, please.
She has been treated with clomiphene citrate and there has been no ovulation with escalating doses of clomiphene citrate. I think she probably would benefit from gonadotropins.
Okay. So,
first choice is gonadotropins.
Yeah,
okay.
gonadotropins. Can you just come to a conclusion what she is a case of? Like if we know that, then life will be a bit easy for us.
She has not responded to clomiphene. So can you come to some conclusion why she has not responded? Even with 150, there is a growth arrest at 14 millimeter.
Even though she is not obese and the BMI is not more, but from her cycles, it seems that she has PCO.
PCOS, okay. PCOS with clomiphene resistance. Yes, Chatin.
She is a classical.
Yeah, just hold it closer, everybody. Hold it closer.
She is a classical case of CC resistant PCO.
Yes,
perfect.
exactly.
CC resistant PCO, you have to have line of action ready with you. So nowadays it is said that CC resistance is no more a terminology because letrozole is considered as the drug of choice, our first drug of choice. But still we call it CC resistant, but you can call it letrozole resistant also.
Okay.
And then you have to go next step, and next step is HMG.
Okay.
But before going into HMG, you can add adjuvants like metformin, which is considered as the step between HMG and CC. So start CC, no response, go to HMG. But in between two, you have to add adjuvants, and metformin is one of the best adjuvants which can be tried. There are some other adjuvants as well.
Yes. But we can say that letrozole is another thing, like CC,
Can I
HMG
ask one thing here, Dr. Darshana? Can you explain why this resistance happens? The resistance is not to the drug only. It is a resistance by the ovary to the responding or the inducing drug, which can happen with even letrozole sometimes.
Correct.
But why this happens, the endocrine part of it?
That's because of the high LH.
Okay.
So I personally like to treat my patients, give them metformin. In fact, I have found this combination. I don't have scientific evidence for that, I'm sorry. But metformin with myoinositol, this combination with lifestyle modification, exercises, bring down the LH. Before, I don't even stimulate them. I don't give them CC, letrozole, nothing. If that LH is so much higher than FSH, I do not go into any ovulation induction, and it has definitely helped me. But
so your strategy is to give oral contraceptive pills. That's what.
I don't even give oral contraceptive.
You don't give.
Modification and metformin and myoinositol.
Metformin
and lifestyle modification.
Lifestyle, and leave them alone for 3 months.
For 3 months you will like to give.
So
Charu,
3 months,
any different strategy? Yeah.
Check her LH.
Okay.
See how it has. If it is on the downward trend, then I start stimulating them.
Okay.
But Darshana, don't you think that you are otherwise also waiting for 3 months? Why not to give something which can decrease her LH, like OC pills? So that can decrease her LH. So you will have a cumulative effect.
For that,
you will have a cumulative effect for
in those 3 months, there's a small chance that she may conceive spontaneously. So I don't want to take away that chance from her. That's
but otherwise, that's your way of working.
Okay.
For this case, when the age is 32, 3 years of marriage, I would like to see the serum insulin levels and what sir said, Chaitanya sir. I would go with it and use HMG.
Fine. So
because no need to wait for such long time, and we can use OC pills too.
Still, can anybody answer one quickly that in endocrine part, what exactly, other than she said high LH, but what exactly is the reason why that follicle is not getting recruited? Why not it is growing with that 50, 100, 150? Why it gets just stopped there? Is there anybody can throw a light on this?
Anovulation occurs, no?
Yeah,
okay,
it is
but
because of
hyperandrogenism. Can we relate with
hyperandrogenism?
FSH? Okay, so because there is something called as a FSH window, which happens on the 2nd and 3rd day. So there is something called as a FSH threshold. So whenever we give any drug, the FSH levels in the circulation has to go beyond that threshold where the recruitment happens, and they have to be in the early follicular phase at above the threshold. Then only that particular recruited follicles go into the dominance and they grow. So it's not the drug, which is, it's the ovary which is not responding to your drug, because that much FSH is not going beyond that threshold and not able to maintain that much. And that's why we saw in this case that even the third cycle, as soon as we go to 150 milligram, but follicle have started growing, but it got arrested at 14 millimeter because the FSH probably drops there. And of course, the high LH, which is another pathology in the PCOS patient, which is inhibiting the follicular growth. So next question, I think. We have discussed this,
we have already discussed all this, and now we have all this in our armamentarium, which has been discussed, so we can skip this. And
can I just
please go ahead.
Add one point?
Yeah.
If you go as per the international guidelines of PCOS, which were floated in last year. It says that LOD and HMG, they are at the same level. So step number 1 is CC or letrozole.
Okay.
Step number 2 is HMG. Now some people and more IVF consultants are nowadays not in favor of LOD because laparoscopic ovarian drilling is something which is going to drastically
we
fall
don't.
the
Yes. No one does it.
Reduction in the ovarian reserve, and therefore, but still there is a place of laparoscopic ovarian drilling.
There is. We don't say that there is no role. But it comes at the second line.
Second line.
Yes.
Second line. Yes. HMG and LOD at the same level. You have to take decision whether to go for laparoscopic drilling or HMG, because laparoscopic ovarian drilling is actually good because it is cost effective.
Yeah.
You do it once and then you get the
And for that, LH may be a good marker. If you have very high LH, like 9, 10, 13, 27, we had patient with even 27 LH. So these are the cases where nothing is going to work. It's only going to work with your laparoscopic ovarian drilling.
Join Kalyan.
Nalini Madam and Kalyan.
Can we have
Dr.
more
Kalyan, please come on the dais and join the panel. We have just started and we are working on PCOS case.
Yeah. And I think this is why this evidence is right in front of you, that a PCOS has a high LH and a suppression of FSH. Now, when we start stimulating ovary and the early follicular phase, we need that LH down, and that is why, especially ovulation induction with IUI or in IUI, we need to give oral contraceptive pills at least minimum 1 to 2 cycles, so that you bring that LH for a temporary purpose. It's not going to suppress for a longer time, but it's going to be for a temporary purpose, it's going to suppress that LH. And that's why this study has just been clearly demarcated that there is a significant higher percentage of patients who has actually ovulated and number of ovulatory cycles as well as pregnancy rate. So giving oral contraceptive pills for minimum 1 or 2 cycles prior to your stimulation makes a lot of difference.
I'll just give a practical tip. Like many of patients says, many of doctors says, वो पेशेंट इधर उधर चले जाता है मैडम, उसको लगता है कि ओसी दे दिया, हम तो कॉन्ट्रासेप्शन के लिए नहीं फर्टिलिटी के लिए आए. So it's better you convince and counsel them. First, get your cycle regularized so that your hormonal milieu will respond very well, and then you can that patient won't go away.
Nalini, we are on Kalyan, we are discussing a polycystic ovarian syndrome, clomiphene resistant patient. We have already discussed about what are the options like metformin, gonadotropins, drilling. Now the questions will start from you, which are the different ovulation induction protocols, which you will just quote them quickly one by one. I think Nalini, you can quote one first and then Kalyan.
Ovulation induction protocols are mainly the drugs and the gonadotropins.
One protocol, first line, what you will give?
Is the clomiphene or letrose. In PCOS, letrose is the first choice.
Yes.
Starting day of starting?
Day of starting, you can start on the second day or third day.
Okay.
Doesn't matter. You can give for 5 days or 10 days. But 5 days is initially, it is very good induction.
Kalyan, next protocol?
One point I want to add, I am working in a small place where the cost of HMG is very important. So I start with 2.5 mg BD, that is 5 mg dose. I go up to 7.5 mg for 5 days, or sometime even extended protocol till 7 days.
10 milligrams.
Because that is going to reduce the cost of HMG which is required for the clomiphene.
That is for your IUI cycles.
Now, one protocol she said is letrozole, right? The second protocol which you said increasing doses. Aditya, next.
If sometimes these protocols don't work, we use a combination of letrozole plus HMG together.
Perfect.
So that again the cost.
How do you use? How do you use it? Tell them.
In that protocol, we start with letrozole on the second or third day of menses, and we prefer to start HMG also early and
Okay.
not late, so that
Okay.
we get recruitment and maybe 2 or 3 follicles where our chances are going to improve.
So you
what
introduce
dose
gonadotropins.
you will start?
So
Yeah.
Letrozole will be 5 milligrams once a day for 5 days.
Okay.
And depending on our BMI, HMG will be either 75 or 150. For
IUI
natural
cycles
cycle or
also?
IUI, it will be 3 doses.
3
Third,
doses.
Fourth and fifth day.
Acha, you give alternate day. Okay, what about Chaitanya?
Letroz 5 milligram,
Yeah.
followed by 6, 7, 8 HMG 75 to start.
Okay, so you give only 3, 6, 7,
doses,
8,
6, 7, 8.
right? And then you monitor. Okay, what about you, Pankaj?
Basically, the difference, like a small difference is I first do a baseline ultrasound, like TVS scan.
Okay.
Once the endometrium is totally shed, then only I start, no
Agree.
matter what
Okay.
day of cycle it is.
Okay.
So it
What
may
about
be
protocol?
3, 4,
Come to
5
protocol,
days.
yeah.
And protocol-wise, letrozole with HMG, it works better. And definitely, as he said, we start the HMG little early than later.
Okay,
And
what day?
step up-
Early means what day? Please.
Early means once the endometrium is totally shed. It may be a day 3, day 4, day 5.
But you know, PCOS patients, they have a irregular cycle. They have a hyperplastic endometrium. Shedding may take long. And generally by day 2, by day 3, the recruitment which is already started, you may be
But
missing that window. That is a logical thing.
Sometimes they don't respond then. That's what
So
I
your
felt.
point is that once you confirm that she has a proper withdrawal and the endometrium, you start directly gonadotropins? Tell me the protocol.
Just
one minute. Huh.
In my initial days of practice where patients were not ready for day 2 scan, which he's saying, I had few pregnancies where they have taken letrozole on their own because they were not able to come. So this is very important, valid point. You should do a baseline scan.
Baseline scan. Agree. Okay, complete your protocol.
Yeah, then I see the previous reports actually.
Yes.
If at all everything has been tried, then HMG at the start itself, like 75 or 150 along with letrozole.
Along with letrozole. So
Along
you
with
start right from second day, letrozole along with gonadotropin.
Yeah.
See, there are so many varieties, and that is what is a wonderful
Whosoever
panel discussion.
has a
is.
TVS of their own,
Yeah.
they need not worry that much because they can call them with the 3-4 days of gap.
Okay.
And then they can check again for the response.
Okay. What about Charu? Any variations? on
Other advantage of scan is
Yeah.
many times cysts from previous cycle are there.
that is
and if
there.
they are large,
Agree.
there is no point
Perfect.
stimulating this patient.
Perfect. Charu, protocol.
Yeah.
What do you do in your practice? You have a patient in front of you, PCO
If
clomiphenolsis.
the previous history has been combined with letrozole or CC, I explain to the patient and I start gonadotropins from day 2, only pure gonadotropins.
Perfect. That's a
After
fifth
7
protocol.
days, increase it
Okay.
to 37.5 if necessary.
That is wonderful.
Again, explain because it's going to be chronic and we have to have the sustained and
Charu,
explain-
This is
in
low
your
dose,
experience,
micro low dose
Yes.
protocol.
in your
That is
experience,
wonderful. That is
in
wonderful.
your experience with pure gonadotropins, what is the average duration of stimulation you require? Tell us, please.
14 or 15
14 to 15 days,
Yes.
and you get some dominant follicle by that time. Okay.
Yes.
Dr. Darshan.
7th day you have to assess everything.
And in step up maybe.
Yeah,
Yeah,
step
Dr.
Mine is a
Darshan.
little different.
Sure, that's what we want to know.
I start
We want to
day
learn
2
from you.
Day 2 or day 3 after baseline scan.
Okay.
I give 5 days of letrozole 5 milligrams.
Okay.
And on day 5 and day 7, I add FSH. I'm
Okay.
very scared to give HMG to these
Okay.
PCOS.
Okay.
So I give FSH. Day 8 scan.
Hmm.
If there is no dominant follicle, I push up the FSH. I don't
Yeah.
add HMG.
So it depends on the scan, you decide whether further doses are
I do my
required.
own.
And
Okay.
you add 2 doses, day 5 and day 7.
Yeah.
And dose, it is 75 or 75?
Because I'm using
No low
urinary,
dose.
not recombinant.
Okay.
I'm using urinary FSH.
Urinary FSH.
Cost
Oh,
is a
okay.
factor in
Yeah,
IUI
yeah.
cycles.
Okay.
Yeah, definitely.
Dr. Pooja,
I agree with Chaitanya.
can you hold the mic, please? We
My
can't
protocol
hear.
is same as Dr. Chaitanya. Like letrozole followed by 3 days of HMG.
HMG.
Okay.
Okay.
Now, please tell us, everybody, quickly, percentage of pregnancies in a year with IUI with your own
PCOS.
protocol. Because everybody has given us a different protocol. Everybody does our own audit every year. Tell us how many average percentage of pregnancy rate you have. And forget about the miscarriage, pregnancy rate I'm talking about.
It's around 10 to 15%.
Kalyan,
14 to 15%.
Aditya,
Same, 12
same.
to 15.
Chaitanya,
Last year was 16%.
okay. What about you?
Around 15%.
15. All are same?
14 to 16.
Same.
Wonderful. Okay. Next.
So we have got a very honest panel, and we must all clap for them. Like they are not giving any hype that we get 60%, we get 70%, and this is that, this is that. So, and we have got, you have seen that wonderful answers and wonderful protocols we have got, and it is a practical based panel which is giving us a absolute carry home messages. So what different protocols we had already discussed, I think this all had been taken care. So if we go to a study, clomiphene versus letrozole with gonadotropin in IUI cycles, and if we see group 1 has received 5 milligram per day letrozole from day 3 to day 7, group 2 has received clomiphene 100 milligram day 3 to day 7, and group with daily gonadotropin from 6 to 8 till the day of SCG. And if we see the results, endometrium thickness was excellent with letrozole, and rate of pregnancy positive was almost 26%, and OHSS was very less with letrozole group. So carry home from this can be taken as letrozole with HMG combination is going to be better to avoid OHSS to get a very good pregnancy outcome.
We'll go from that end now, Dr. Pooja. So on day 9 of menses, there are 7 dominant follicles on both sides. 7 dominant follicles. What will you do? All of them are 14 to 15 millimeter. One line please quickly, because we have 4 cases.
I will pass on.
Pass on means what? Where?
Pass on
Next.
question.
Acha, question pass on, okay.
First, I'll counsel the patient properly. Then my options will be either abandon the cycle,
Abandon.
treat for OHSS, or convert into IVF.
Okay.
All 3. What you will do? Your preference. I understand. You will give options, but what you will do?
If the patient can afford, I would do an IVF.
IVF.
Convert it to
Charu?
IVF.
IVF. Bol na tu. Yeah.
Like we can counsel them. It's on day 9 and it's 14-15. So I'll still wait for 3-4 days more.
Okay.
Without giving anything.
Okay.
And then I'll also counsel them that there are 7 dominant follicles.
Waiting to see them there whether some follicles are regressing. 14-15 millimeter they are. They won't regress now.
They sometimes.
Okay, out of 7, 2 regressed. 5 remaining. What you'll do?
Then probably agonist trigger, and I can go ahead.
Okay, one now we got another strategy, agonist trigger. Okay. Chaitanya.
Frankly speaking, I have never done rescue IVF.
Okay.
Because the patients are not maintained.
What you have done? What you have done? Cancel the cycle. Aditya.
I'll cancel, but most importantly, we have to counsel the patient that kindly don't try naturally, because many a time
perfect. Perfect.
Super.
Yeah, exactly, because we have not blocked the pituitary hormones, right? Yeah. Kalyan, what about you?
Same, abandon the cycle.
Okay.
If patient is affording, I'll put for IVF, rescue IVF.
Kalyan is very generous. Sometimes he does pick up for free also sometimes.
No,
I wanted that answer from you.
3,000 rupees also.
I'll abandon, but at the same time, I'll give you agonist trigger so that the patient will not conceive, yes, and the OHSS will not be there.
Okay. I think one of the best strategy, right? We will also agree that is to abandon, because number 2.
Best cycle.
Yeah.
Abandon and ask them to use contraception. And for that you need to have at least 10 minutes of counseling. They have to show all photographs of ultrasound and make them understand that multiple pregnancy burden will be too high on them and their uterus also. So it's better, like you better try in a next cycle.
That doesn't mean that the other strategy is not correct. Okay, that doesn't mean, please, it's after the counseling. Remember, the only logic behind it is that patient can conceive with IUI. That's what you feel. That's why you're doing IUI cycle. She's not, she's over-responded in that cycle. Doesn't mean that she will again respond the same next cycle.
Do the same.
So it's not necessary that putting them on a financial burden.
Two level is also very important.
Yes. No, she's going to hyperstimulate. That is sure.
You should have
all done.
It is said that you should have guts to cancel the cycle.
Yes,
Exactly.
yes,
That
yes.
is very
I would like to say one thing. When you convert them into IVF, the results are very good.
I totally agree. IVF is going to give us a better results.
Yeah.
But look at 20,000 rupees and look at the 2 lakhs rupees.
That's why I said
Huge difference.
affordability is there.
Yes. Okay.
This question goes to audience.
No, no, not yet.
If you're
Not yet.
counseling.
Okay, so
before,
audience,
also
be alert. We
necessary
have
this
few
kind of
questions
patient
for you
can
all
be
also.
converted with minimum cost.
Okay. Thank you. Okay.
So this question goes to Chaitanya specifically. When will measure serum LH levels during controlled ovarian hyperstimulation and IUI treatment cycle?
Do you routinely do or no? Anybody does in out of 8 panelists?
Yeah.
Never.
She does. Just before trigger. Just for the documentation.
Okay.
We never.
Just to decide should I trigger or not.
Oh, trigger is not on the follicle size, on the LH?
Both.
Both. Okay. Wonderful. Interesting. So if the LH is more than 7.5 on the day when 2 follicles are 15 millimeter, suppose, now all of you don't do it, but suppose you have the patient who has come from the next center, today you have done the scan and there are 2 follicles of 15 millimeter, she is carrying yesterday's LH report of more than 7.5, will you give GnRH antagonist in this situation or you won't? Tell me.
It has escaped already.
Not yet?
7.5 means luteinization has started.
It happens after 10. Established LS surge is after 10, not. But she'll more likely to go into premature LS surge.
That
So
was
will you like to give?
report
In this
also.
situation,
That's
I'll give antagonist.
Perfect. In this situation, you'll give.
Rescue the cycle with antagonist.
What?
The for 2 follicles which are 15 millimeter, now it's
Why do you give it? You think that it's going to save that cycle?
Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
yeah,
I
it
think this
can-
is
Right?
a very typical situation.
Yes.
But there are only 3 situations where antagonists are given in IUI cycles.
Good.
One is this situation.
Yes.
Second situation is suppose your IUI falls on Sunday
Yes.
and you want to avoid, you have to come to Amravati. And third situation is where there is a endometrial and follicular asynchrony.
Okay.
If the endometrium is lagging behind and the
So you want
follicle
to buy few days.
So you
By
can
few days.
actually-
Very excellent.
I will
Very
add one
excellent.
more indication.
Sure.
Where there's a previous history of recurrent premature.
Okay.
LH surge.
Agreed.
Documented. Documented.
But do you all of you agree that using an premature LS surge is common with controlled ovarian hyperstimulation with gonadotropins?
Yeah.
No?
Yeah.
What's the evidence is?
with gonadotropins.
Yes.
Yes,
Gonadotropin
because
it
that's
is,
the highest
that's why-
incidence we have.
Because your follicle only stimulate that LH also that. So
Right.
definitely it is
Then
more with
my question is
gonadotropin.
that when you are using gonadotropins, why don't you use LH surge? I mean, why don't you monitor LH? We know that there is a higher incidence
See,
of
LH is
surge.
pulsatile, Kundan. So,
Agreed.
like maybe you are doing right now, and that sample is gone to the lab, but she will have LH surge in the night. How
I'll
can
tell
you
you one,
doctor?
Let them answer.
There is one practical solution.
Yeah.
There are LH kits available.
LH kits.
What you do is if you tell your patient that every day at the time of lunch you do LH test, right? With your LH kit. If she is working, lunchtime you do LH kit. If LH you get 2 lines, then give HCG and do IUI after 24 hours.
And if the follicle is
But
15
then
only,
you have to see the
still you will
follicle,
give?
na?
Still you have to give HCG because LH surge is not very robust. So you add HCG to that.
No,
LH
that's
surge.
true, but you have to do
it.
a ultrasound. Chaitanya, you have to do ultrasound. Suppose that follicle is not yet mature, but LH is showing it is there. It is a premature LH surge occurring at 15 mm. You cannot give just HCG to that. You have to have
Okay.
some more.
Now,
Okay.
coming
One
to-
practical
okay.
tip is you can do an ultrasound and see the color
Perifollicular
flow of
flow.
the
Okay.
thing, and
We'll
that helps
conclude.
you to catch up
We'll
time.
conclude. Routinely doing LH levels is not recommended in COH and IUI, but you have to, of course, correlate with the sonography. If you have too many follicles which are in the cohort, there is a likely that premature LH surge is going to be there. Either follicle goes beyond 14-15 millimeter, more than 2 or 3 follicles, you can empirically, without testing, you can give it, number 1. Or you can measure LH, and depending on the LH levels, you can decide whether antagonist is required or no. Okay? Everybody agrees?
Yes.
Everybody agrees?
Yes.
Okay, last
Just
important
wait,
question.
just wait.
That one
Yeah,
question.
yeah. One important question.
Before that.
Metformin. Yeah, metformin everyone agrees that we have to give to PCOS. Almost everyone gives. So I'll skip that question and I'll go to what is benefit of metformin and myo-inositol combination? Is it really worth giving or it is a pharma gimmick? Nalini.
What do you give? Only metformin or
To
myo-inositol
PCOS,
metformin?
full blown PCOS,
You
she's
have the
for
case.
IUI.
Yeah. What do you give?
I either give I give metformin to these patients, but not
Okay.
the combination of the metformin and the
Thank you, Nalini. Kalyan?
I have never used myoinositol in my 15 years practice.
You never used. Okay, wonderful.
Only metformin.
Only metformin. Any change, Chaitanya?
Over PCO, metformin, myoinositol combination.
Yes.
Okay.
Combination.
Combination. Okay, very good.
I never use this drug because
No metformin also?
Some metformin for selected
But myoinositol.
myoinositol never.
Combination.
I ask them the what they want. Like if they want fertility, if they are married, they want fertility, then directly fertility enhancing treatment. If they want the regularization of period,
As adjunct
then
cushion.
we can give pills and all. I've never used this.
Okay. Charu?
Used metformin plain.
Plain metformin. Dr. Darshana.
Darshana?
Oh, I love this combination.
You love this combination.
Yeah.
So we have
Even
two
I.
panelists who are
Even
using
I.
this combination.
I am for
What
it.
about?
I've used this
But we have to have a evidence for it to love it.
I use the combination.
You use combination. 3.
Yeah.
Okay.
But metformin like
You,
later, not-
Kundan.
I use both.
So we are 5 now.
Yeah,
Let's
5
see
now.
what evidence
How
says.
many evidences?
So this is a very good evidence which is coming from India by Agrawal A and Kriplani, Dr. Kriplani from Delhi. Like group 1, 60 received, though the sample size is small, but we need to go through it. Like group 1 had received metformin and myoinositol, and group 2 has received only metformin 3 times a day. And see, group 1 has a pregnancy rate of 55%, and group 2 with only metformin in PCOS is 26%. So these results are speaking by itself. Myoinositol do work and combination do work. Maybe we need to have more studies, like 5 of us are using it, why not to have our own studies? We can have a PCO
This
club.
is
I have a
Yeah.
small doubt.
Yeah.
This is a study which is done in only ovulation induction cycles.
Yes.
And you are claiming 58% results.
Yes. Actually, that's a live birth rate. Now listen, there are few fallacies in this study. It's only one prospective randomized control trial till today. We don't say that you follow them blindly. It's a
But we
small
can
size
have a
study.
study. We
It's
can
a
have
small
study
size
of our
study.
own.
Okay. Here, unfortunately, we don't know the clinical pregnancy rates. Unfortunately, we don't have a clinical pregnancy rate, which we are interested. We are not interested in live birth rate. Remember, we are interested in clinical pregnancy rate. So please don't follow very blindly. But this is just a probably 1% of evidence where we are looking at. So probably we still require a more
But we
better
all-
study.
we
So I
all
don't say
from
that you
Vidarbha-
follow it blindly.
Yeah,
Okay?
we all from Vidarbha at least can join hands for PCOS. We can work on PCOS together and have our own study.
Sir, even we all will agree we struggle to get IVF success rate so high.
Wonderful.
So now it's turn of audience. What are the criterias of PCOS or not? I think it is too simple a question for
No, it's okay. Somebody
audience.
answer. Audience. Anybody who raised?
No, Sadhna won't spoke on this. She's too high.
Audience. Arey, bolo. Ultrasound evidence.
Let's see how many alert people were there in the audience.
Loudly.
How many? Seema, how many?
More than 25 what? For ovary, both ovaries. For ovary, more than 25. That's not right. Criteria. 12 or more follicles.
12 or more follicle of size
Other than that.
8 to 10 mm, no. So like it is presence of 12 or more follicles, 2 to 7 millimeter in diameter on day 2 of a cycle, increased ovarian volume of more than 10 cubic centimeter, and transvaginal scan. So this is very important, and I think
Next question.
next question.
Madam,
I think-
just an addition, what we discussed is the Rotterdam criteria.
Yeah.
But now recently there are studies
20.
where
Yeah,
they
we
have
know
gone to
20.
18.
But we wanted a
Will come.
basic, at least
Yes,
basic
yes.
question.
Basic should be this, but we should
Yeah, we know
consider
that. So which are androgen sensitive skin areas for hair growth?
Audience, this is
What
question
is
for
hair
audience.
end syndrome? Anyone can take.
Hair end syndrome. Can somebody
Sadhna
quickly tell?
also.
5 counts. 1, 2, 3. Hyperandrogen, somebody said?
Yes, Seema. Yes, yes,
One
yes.
more.
Acanthosis, nine. Hair end. Hair end.
Hair growth. Chin. And the third one? Where you will look for? Central midline of the
body and acanthosis nigricans.
Hair-end syndrome. Tell us hair-end syndrome. Anybody knows? 1, 2, and 3rd. Acanthosis nigricans. Wonderful. Achha, it's written there. You have changed the slide.
I cheated my audience. They are from Amravati.
All right. So case number 2, all of you. Next case. I am academic. Okay. Primary subfertility couple married since 2 years. Her cycle is absolutely regular, 30 days with adequate bleeding for 4 to 5 days with normal endocrine profile. HSG shows patent tubes on both the sides. Husband semen analysis shows 12 million per ml sperm count with 35% progressive motile sperm. 3 times count has been done and it is closed around that time, less than 15 million only. Husband endocrine profile says FSH 5.45, LH is 3.69, prolactin is 12.55 and his blood sugar is normal. What are we looking at? Charu? What are we looking at here?
It's a hypo.
Can you say FSH 5.45 is hypo? Right? No?
I think this is an unexplained infertility patient.
Yeah, fine.
According to the newer WHO guidelines, this sperm analysis report is perfectly normal.
Perfectly normal, 12 million?
12 million, yeah, it is 12 million and 35 to 40% of motility, grade 3, grade 4.
What is the newer manual cutoff is?
4% normal
15 million.
It is
15
Chaitanya?
15 million.
It is 15.
15.
So 12 million is normal?
Mild male
12 to
factor.
50, 1.5, not 50.
Manual says 15 million.
It is 50. According to WHO, it is
15, 1,
12
5.
to 15 million is normal.
Yeah.
It is 15 million, of
Perfect.
course, and 10 to 15 is mild oligospermia.
All right.
And before labeling this case as a case of idiopathic mild oligospermia, you should rule out the causes of oligospermia and then label it as
Perfect.
idiopathic.
So how will, stepwise investigation. Darshana, please take the mic if you don't mind. So,
Age of the couple, please.
I think I have mentioned there. No.
30.
Okay. Husband is 31 years old and the wife is 29 years old. They are married since 2 years.
Okay. Weight of the gentleman?
Gentleman, he's average weight. He's not obese.
I would like to go for scrotal Doppler.
Scrotal ultrasound, number 1. Any other investigation? We have
Thyroid.
FSH. Any other investigation?
Thyroid function test.
Thyroid function test. Any other investigation?
Seminal infection, have you checked for seminal infection?
It's not there. Those are the only positive findings
From
from
DNA fragmentation.
DNA fragmentation test. Okay. Anything? Keep 3 mics and
Scrotal Doppler with
she has
rule out
mentioned.
varicocele.
Okay. And you said scrotal Doppler. Okay. So will you give medical therapy to husband? No, take the mic. We are not allowed to speak mumbling. Okay. Yeah.
Y chromosome microdeletion.
Y microsome. Okay. That's one of the. Every case or only in
Oligospermia you should do.
every case? Alan is nodding. Why? Tell us no then.
For every case, you are not going to do Y chromosome microdeletion. You need to, if you are done ICSI.
Which oligospermic patient you will do?
You have to have some evidences.
Which oligospermic patient you will do Y microdeletion? We have put the foot in, so let's discuss that.
If I am doing a ICSI for this patient where your embryos are not forming, in spite of good oocytes, then I'll think of doing some other tests.
Severe oligospermia, exactly. That is where when you see occasional sperms very low, like 1 or 2 million, I think it's valid that we should do a Y microdeletion, not like 12 million, 15 million, okay?
And the karyotyping is the last test.
Last test. Will you give medical therapy to husband to improve sperm count? Yes. Who all of you think, just raise your hands that yes, medical therapy should be given. All of you. How many audience will give? Perfect.
Antioxidants.
Wonderful. And what is the percentage of success in idiopathic oligospermia? Because FSH is more than 5. I mean, it's normal range. It's idiopathic oligospermia.
So it's good.
All the investigation you have suggested are normal. My microdeletion normal, scan is normal. He's non-smoker, non-alcoholic. It's idiopathic. We don't know what is the reason. So, do you think that doing IUI in this scenario is gonna help? Are you going to give IUI treatment cycles for minimum 3 attempts to him?
Yes.
Before advising IVF.
First,
everybody agrees?
First 3 to 4 months of antioxidant followed by IUI.
If there is no improvement, it's the same. But you have given. You will give still IUI. How many cycles?
3 to 4 cycles.
3 to 4 cycles. Okay. And which drug will you prefer? Medical therapy?
Any antioxidants.
Any antioxidant. Okay. Any other drug? To improve the sperm count? Yes.
Clomiphene, 25 milligram.
Clomiphene 25 milligram, how long?
At least 3 months.
3 months, perfect.
With
Why
a
3
break
months?
of 5 months.
Why 3 months?
Spermatogenesis time. you know.
Yes. Anybody who differs from these medications?
Or add on something else also, which we are doing.
CoQ. And then there is a whole
Antioxidants he has already told. Okay. Clomiphene. Anybody use letrozole? Anybody uses letrozole? No. Anybody come across any new papers of letrozole?
Paper which came recently.
Ah, very good.
But they are using 7.5, isn't it?
I don't know. You have to tell me. You are expert here.
No, that is dose is 2.5 milligram for 3 to 4 months.
3 to 4 months.
That is a long dose for male.
Perfect. Those are the studies.
HCG low dose?
I've never.
Not in this sperm count.
No,
you know.
but 5 million,
Hypo.
4 million.
Okay. Now let's come to the one important question. In which scenario you will not clomiphene, no letrozole, you will only use gonadotropins? Which cases, Nalini? Take the mic, please.
Hypogonadotrophic, hypogonadotrophic.
Okay. Chaitanya, please elaborate how we use gonadotropins if we have to give in hypo.
I think that is the best treatment which is available for hypo. You start with HCG first, 3 times a week.
Okay.
And then after 3 months of HCG, you start with gonadotropins.
Yes.
Okay.
Then if the patient is not responding to this treatment, then there are 2 parts of the treatment. One is the testosterone part, where you provide testosterone for virilization, and second is hormonal part, which is for spermatogenesis.
Okay. So SCG is going to help us for what? Testosterone production, right? Right?
Spermatogenesis.
Yes. Okay. So will you classify these patients like with patients with low sperm count, with low testosterone, and with a normal, and then decide I should give SCG, I should give HMG right away? You don't do that. No. Okay. Anybody?
But don't give injectable testosterone. But don't give injectable testosterone.
No. That I agree. I agree with your point.
Not done. But only thing is, if this treatment does not work, then you can give pulsatile GnRH.
Yes.
Okay.
Which is a second line treatment.
Now the evidence says that if a patient of oligospermics has also low testosterone levels, the first approach is to give SCG, what Chaitanya has mentioned. You give SCG for some time, see the repeat semen analysis. If you still don't see, you can add HMG if you want. Now a patient is very desperate for undergoing IUI only, and it's a idiopathic, and they don't want to undergo IVF, they're not affording, and you want to give real trial, then medical therapy with this approach. Now a patient having a normal testosterone with the idiopathic oligospermia, is there any role of SCG? Do you agree? No role of SCG? Then you will prefer to give HMG? How you will give it? They want to know, they want to use it. Anybody, how do you give it? No.
It is 75 milligram twice a week is the dose for 3 months.
75 IU. IU. Twice a week. Twice a week. Now it's pulsatile, no? So we can use it anyway. But the regime says that ideally it has to be alternate day, 3 times a week. Okay, and you continuously give it for at least minimum 70 to 72 days, and then earliest semen repeat analysis should be after 72 days. So I think this we have discussed about clomiphene, and even this important point which we need to see, many times it does happen that you end up in getting good improvement in the sperm count because of low FSH patients. You give clomiphene and you see a good improvement, and we are happy because now we want to do IUI on her. So we continue clomiphene. So again, how long you're going to continue? That's also important, because there is a evidence that at the end of 3 months, it has been documented in the literature that a severe oligospermic patient can land up in azoospermia at the end of 3 months of clomiphene. So please make sure, repeat your semen analysis, see to it. If you see that there were some sperms in the past and now they are not at all, you stop clomiphene and wait for 3 months, and you will again see those repeat. So yes.
What you have rightly said is true even for normal patients also.
Yes.
Because whenever patients comes to you, if they are young patients with severe oligospermia, they feel that with antioxidants their sperm count will go up, or with some Ayurvedic treatment. So they actually buy time. And you should give a word of caution to them that with time their semen count is going to further decline.
I have one doctor patient who was on clomiphene cited for 6 months, male. He has optic neuritis and retinal detachment. So that is a word of caution for that also.
Wonderful. Would you like to do sperm DNA fragmentation in every infertility case, irrespective of normal semen parameters?
No.
No, I have seen. I have seen 10 consecutive patients undergoing DNA fragmentation index.
After 6 IUI failures, I like to do.
6 IUI failures.
RIF is one situation where you should do DNA fragmentation. It is a good test. It is an upcoming test, and the best part is it is going to give you something which is not available with semen analysis reports. So
Okay.
if there is a recurrent implantation failure, and you just don't know what is the cause, and you want to find out the cause, you should focus on the male partner, and then you do the DNA fragmentation test.
Especially patients who's got a very bad embryo in the previous IVF cycles, a very severe oligoastenospermic patients, you will like to do it. These are the indications.
I think it should be done pre-IVF for everybody.
For every patient, that's what you think.
Pre-IVF.
You do it,
Yeah.
right? But I think we have to follow certain literature guidelines. I understand we are seeing so many cases of male infertility. They are definitely on rise. But we have to little select our patients. We cannot say that right now you start doing for every patient's DNA fragmentation. We have to select. So this is the test what we do. For those who don't do this test or don't interpret this test, remember the patients having fragmented DNA will look like this, and with intact DNA they will have a good blur halo around it. The simple reason is the DNA is a protein, and with kind of it bluffs up when it comes in contact with the reagents, and that is what we see is a halo around it, and in a fragmented DNA we don't get it, that halo. So remember, just for interpretation. Now suppose you have a patient whose sperm DNA fragmentation index is 35%, you have given antioxidants, it is still 34%, what you will do? Patient is having oligospermia, what you will do?
Best approach is TSE.
Huh?
Testicular sperm extraction is the best.
Testicular sperm extraction or PISA or TISA, what exactly? Be specific.
TSE.
Testicular sperm extraction. Agree?
TISA.
The message is very clear. TISA. Okay, next. So I think we can quiz this. Clinical pregnancy rate is definitely double if you take a sperms from a testicular sample than ejaculate it. Audience question?
Yes.
What is the cutoff of post-wash sperm count at the time of IUI, below which there is a significant decrease in the pregnancy rate? Quick. 5 million on what? Report or on macular chamber? Confused? Macular chamber 5 million? Then you are transferring only 2.5 million.
Because we transfer only half ml or less,
ml.
even less, 0.3 ml.
So remember, literature says 5 million. But on macular chamber, it has to be 10 million per ml because final insemination volume is 0.5 ml. So when you see 10 million per ml on macular chamber, you are actually doing 5 million. Everybody got this point very clear? Okay.
10 million motile sperm count.
Of course,
Yeah,
that
motile.
obviously.
Because it's wash sample, so motile.
Panelists just started playing with the words now. When will you operate in varicocele?
Lawyer.
2 indications, not for you. 2 indications when you will operate for varicocele. Please don't say that varicocele should not be operated. I mean, there are indications, of course. Quickly. One.
Like
One. That is grade 3. That is grade 3. And there is something associated with this. That's why it's written down 2.
Oligospermia. Severe
If
oligospermia.
DNA fragmentation is more, then also one should operate the varicocele.
Okay, fine. Anything else? Kalyan?
With severe oligospermia with FSH reports normal.
Okay, so the only that one other point which persistent abnormal semen parameters is very important. Anyway, next.
Yeah. So now we again come back to female factor of infertility. 30-year-old couple has primary infertility of 4 years. Man has normal semen parameter, thank God. So woman has a ultrasound showing 5 centimeter ovarian cyst, typical of ground grass appearance with dysmenorrhea. So everyone knows it is endometriosis, and Nandita madam has just today only taken it very beautifully. So would you like to treat this woman medically or surgically for infertility? Can we
Aditya
start
bolo.
from, okay, Aditya.
She has 2 criteria for going for endometriosis surgery. One is pain and second is infertility. So as both criteria are there, I would prefer to go ahead with the laparoscopic endometriotic
It's
cyst
a
surgery.
single What was the size?
5 centimeters. Single side, 5 centimeter.
Pain
is there and infertility is
Patient
there.
is with you only
Okay.
for the infertility.
Yes.
She has not come to you, I am getting pain. That is, you elicited history that she has a dysmenorrhea. She is with infertility. What you will do?
But still, considering the
Quickly.
size and
Surgery?
duration of infertility,
Surgery?
So surgery, okay. What
Kalyan,
is the important
surgery?
point?
Serum AMH followed by surgery.
Okay.
Okay, so
Nalini
what-
surgery. Anybody who differs from here? Anybody
So
differs here?
everyone,
A few cycles before surgery because with surgery,
Few cycles of
trial of IVF.
trial of
No,
IVF.
she's just 2 years married.
Okay.
No, I mean fresh IVF or what do you like to do?
I mean, surgery I feel because the cyst is 5 centimeters and we have not even tried any ART techniques on this. So if AMH is poor and then if we operate on...
No, in this case AMH is good. Both sides shows 8 antral follicles on both the sides and AMH is good. It's around 4. Now what you will do?
But still, if she
Operate.
has not had any...
You would like to have few cycles of trial, ovulation induction
ovulation induction,
and TIC or maybe IUI. You mean to say that you may have 3 cycles of trial of ovulogens
and
and
if
then
that
think,
doesn't work, then
okay, that could be done because
I
she's
think,
2 years and that is a fair thing.
Guidelines say that
guidelines.
you should operate such patients with a word of caution, telling them about the possibility
AMH.
of diminished ovarian reserve.
Yes.
Wonderful.
AMH.
That's an important counseling point before surgery. You have to counsel. Even you feel that I am going to do a best of the surgical job, you have to counsel the patient that probably this side ovarian reserve is going to decrease. That is quite possible because it is 5 centimeter. Remember, on surgery she has
a moderate
After surgery, their
endometriosis.
conceptions rate naturally are much better. So ideally we should counsel both AMH to be done and after also and counseling of the patient.
But I think she has a nice thought process of puja. Like you can give her 3 cycle because she has just come to you, and in that 3 cycle, if she doesn't conceive or in between, if she increases, you can go for a surgery.
5 centimeter endometriosis.
But pain is a
5
side
centimeter
symptom.
endometriosis.
now we are
Now
coming
see,
to that
okay.
point. Look at that.
She has
Surgery
a
done.
surgery
She has a
done,
moderate.
And she has moderate endometriosis, which you are able to treat surgically with patent tubes. Generally, it has. So, how would you further advise her for achieving pregnancy?
These patients have the best chances after surgery, and you should encourage them to try naturally for a few months with duration of 2 years, and there is a good chance they'll come back with a spontaneous conception.
Okay. Suppose she doesn't.
Endometriosis is not only a
conceive with
ovarian
that. Then
disease,
what next?
it's a pelvic disease. So with surgery, even the adnexa and all the tubes all get corrected, and the tubo-ovarian relationship also gets maintained.
So you have
she
to
has a very
assess
good
this.
chance.
These points you have to assess during a surgery,
So it should
laparoscopy.
be a proper fertility enhancing surgery rather than just an endometriotic surgery.
So I will
when would you-
advise 2 cycles of IUI, and
Perfect.
then if she is not conceiving, then
go
should
for
go for
IVF.
IVF.
So your time is like 2 cycles of IUI. Anyone else will differ with
As
that?
Dr. Nandita said, even the uterine factor you have to remember in
Yes,
endometriosis.
yes.
So down regulate maybe with OC pills or agonist, and then do an IUI. That is also another option.
So when you do IUI, obviously you cannot use letrozole and clomiphene when you are down regulating. It has to be pure gonadotropin cycle.
Gonadotropin cycle.
But it's
Yes,
a good strategy because it's a moderate endometriosis. If you want to give 2 to 3 cycles, give down regulation. It is going to improve your cycles, and it has to be pure gonadotropin cycles. Remember the advice which we here wants to give. The next.
But one thing I found, even continuous OCs, they also do a pretty good job.
But she cannot conceive, right?
No. For
You are
down
wasting
regulation.
time.
No, I'm talking of down regulation.
Yeah, but
Instead of giving
you're
her-
going to waste time.
Yeah, you are going to waste time.
So couple agrees. She doesn't conceive and she agrees for ART after 2 years. After
2 years
first
later.
Surgery. The pelvic scan shows a recurrent endometrioma of 6 centimeter. Would you like to operate on her again?
Now,
Kalyan.
looking at the all questions, I like to judiciously counsel this patient that this patient is for IVF home pickup, followed by surgery, followed by THOIT.
Okay.
Now only one question on his answer is, now Aditya, how long you will give down regulation for such patient when you want to do a stimulation?
Any recurrent endometrioma guidelines recommend to discourage surgery.
That he said.
Yes.
That he said. How long?
Protocol is something I will prefer for 3 months.
3 months.
3 months.
Perfect. Any
See, I will do the stimulation, then take out the means oocytes and form the embryos, freeze it, and then
That's what he said.
Giving her 3 doses of GnRH analogs.
Charu, any change of opinion?
I think what
It's fine.
said is fine.
So everybody agrees. You want to say something? Say
Directly
quickly.
stimulation without giving any agonist. Directly stimulation, doing an IVF, and then doing surgery, then doing.
But then evidence says that if you down-regulate such patient for 3 cycles,
the
the
response
oocyte quality is better. The oocyte quality is better when you down-regulate. So I think this is the evidence.
But the dose you require is more. That is.
That's okay. She's not worried. She wants pregnancy. She's not worried if I spend another 10,000 more.
600. She'll not ovulate only.
This is a very tricky situation.
No,
it's not tricky. It's very clear.
AMH
One by one. One by one. One by one.
What Nalini madam is saying is very true. With 3
Stimulate.
doses, it is everywhere it is said that give 3 months of leupride or agonist, and then you do the stimulation.
Yes.
But as we all know that this 3 months of agonist is going to suppress the ovaries, and you
A lot.
need a lot.
And then you have to
very
just...
high dose. And second thing is, if now the policy is for freeze all, but otherwise, if at all this patient is having high AMH, then you cannot give her agonist trigger. If you are going for a fresh...
I agree. That point is very valid. So you concentrate on your ovulation induction protocol.
First
But
ovulate.
the evidence is very clear that endometriosis, the best protocol is you down-regulate and then do ovarian stimulation. This is the evidence. This is the evidence, and that's a guideline for all patients because that's a recurrent endometrioma patients. Okay?
I have a counter question. What if
No questions are allowed. Sorry. We have one more case to finish.
Sir, it is for pregnancy rate what you are talking.
Yes.
Improve.
Finally, the treatment is for pregnancy, not for
Pregnancy
pain.
rates will come later na, when we'll do the THAW-AT.
Oh, no. Of course, it depends on your embryo. Embryo quality, pregnancy rate depends on embryo quality.
That will...
Okay, next. Yeah. Exactly, that is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, she has to come here. Yeah. Okay.
Now, just last point, very important. Please treat mild endometriosis patient like
with the same
unexplained
lines,
infertility. So, if you suspect on a sonography that she may have a uterosacral tenderness, maybe some mild, if she has not undergone IUI cycles or stimulation cycles, please first do IUI cycles. If she doesn't conceive, then go for laparoscopy. So, in cases of mild endometriosis.
Moderate and severe endometriosis, medical therapy is usually contraceptive and delays fertility management. So you have to be proactive in treating on ovulation induction lines. And usual protocol for endometriomas are in surgery you just do a cystectomy or just drainage is better than cystectomy because you may take out a lot of primordial follicles also. GnRH.
Madam, I differ on this point.
I also differ on this point.
Okay, we can have a panel's opinion.
No,
like
1 minute.
What you do.
1 minute, 1 minute. This is the point here is not that telling everybody that do surgery. No. This is the point is very important is what she said is that cystectomy is more better than the drainage. That is the only point.
Yes, that's the only
That is the only point.
She said ulta exactly.
No, cystectomy better than drainage.
Okay.
And
That must
then
have slipped
followed by GnRH agonist depot and fertility therapy and early risks to ART. Suppose she is not conceiving in 3 cycle, we have to keep a loop of ART too.
I'll just add one point to it. Because it's a panel discussion.
Yes.
If we have to do endometriosis surgery, get the best surgeon or you yourself do a cystectomy.
Yes.
This drainage, she always has
No,
risk for
cystectomy.
recurrence in
We
the
never do drainage. We always do a cystectomy. Drainage we could have done transvaginally also, isn't it? So cystectomy.
Only to add one point, if it is, if it's mild endometriosis, do a very good IUI 3 to 4. It's comparable to one of the IVF cycles. So we have to hit it hard, and in 3 to 4 IUIs, you must try to get a
Get it. Because
exactly,
tubes are
that's what even I made.
Because tubes are always patent in endometriosis. So tubal factor is just far off.
Wait, audience questions now. Young girl, 17 years old, severe dysmenorrhea, okay? Transabdominal showing 4 centimeter unilateral endometriotic cyst. What treatment will you give?
In the morning only you had a class.
A young guy will answer. Fantastic. Any other opinion? No chocolate for Rohan. He doesn't need it.
There is a new drug called ethinyl estradiol plus free days 30 that is better for this situation.
Okay, fine.
And
Cheaper. It cannot be better, it is cheaper. That's what rightly she said. Okay, in which following situations will you operate in endometriosis?
Both ovaries are not approachable for oocyte retrieval. Second option is unilateral 5 centimeter endometrioma. Third situation is recurrent endometriotic cyst like the previous patient, and bilateral endometriotic cyst.
Audience question this is, okay?
Audience question.
A, B, C, D. How many are favoring A?
A.
Are only 5 are there. Okay, rest. For B, C, D, how many?
B also.
Recurrent endometriotic cyst you will operate?
No.
Recurrent
Except C.
After listening to Madam's talk and then endometriosis, all cases will operate.
A, B and D.
A, B and D.
A, B and D. Okay.
No, I think if a infertility, no, we have another case. 5 minutes will take. If it is an infertility case, a patient with a long-standing infertility, only the first. You recruit the oocytes, right? Madam said in her lecture, she wants to preserve her fertility. So I think preserving fertility is more important than surgery. So preserve first, retrieve the oocyte, and that is why ovaries are not approachable. We need to get them in a normal position or approachable position.
Here,
recruit the oocytes.
Transabdominal oocyte pickup, which
I know, we'll send it to you, all those patients. Don't worry. Okay. But B and C and D, be very careful, because fertility is going to get, get preserved.
When you are doing USG guided aspiration, be careful about ovarian abscess.
Yes, absolutely. Now case 4, 34 years old, primary subfertility, married since 5 years, regular cycles, moderate flow, she has got a dysmenorrhea. 2 ml, husband semen analysis looks good, good count, good motility. HSG shows pattern normal tubes. Look at her transvaginal scan, good endometrium, but it is deviated anteriorly due to presence of, can you see the diagram? Looks like a fibroid there of almost 3.5 by 4 centimeter in the posterior wall of uterus. Both ovaries shows a good antral follicle. Nikhil, be aside please. She has underwent 3 COH-IUI cycles without success. So she has already undergone 3 IUI cycles. She has ovulated nicely, good post-wash count, but she did not conceive. So my question to my panelists, will start with Aditya. What might be the reason of IUI failure here? Can it be the fibroid? And how does fibroid causes infertility?
We've already discussed fibroids causing altered contractility, the receptivity, altered endometrial receptivity.
Okay.
In our previous talk.
Okay, we have discussed that, right.
This is a borderline situation where your fibroid is almost 3.5.
3.5 to 4 centimeters.
Yeah. So now intramural fibroids 4 and above, guidelines have told even though they are intramural non-cavity distorting, and if patient is not conceiving, they should be removed. So but counseling matters most. You have to discuss with the patient what you are planning, the advantages and the
naturally. Kalyan, you wanted to say something?
See, this patient who has already failed 3 IUI, I feel laparoscopy.
So myomectomy everybody will do? Okay, one. Myomectomy. Hysteroscopically or laparoscopically? It's a 3.5 by 4.
Laparoscopically.
Anybody hysteroscopy? Posterior wall.
Myoma. Intramural. So we are doing laparoscopy.
That's what I'm asking you. Why you are asking me? I'm asking you what you will do.
Why it is written hysteroscopically? I don't know.
It's coming on you.
Okay.
He's not asking, it's coming on you.
Important message for all of you. Class 0, you will operate? Yes. The grade 1, you will operate? Yes. Yes. Say loudly yes. Yes. Wonderful.
Yes.
Grade 2, you will operate? Yes. Wonderful. What about grade 3? Will you operate?
Yes.
We should. The new guideline says, yes, we should. We will come, we have skipped that slide, but HOXA 10 and HOXA 11 gene expression is significantly low. If it is in very close approximation to the cavity, yeah, and especially grade 4, you will operate? If the cavity is not distorting? Size. So 4 more than? 4 centimeter. More than 4 centimeter. Even if it is cavity not distorting. Yes. Are you sure? Yes. Okay, wonderful. I'm sure. Thank you. So remember, 4 and 4 centimeter size, you will operate. Sorry. What about 5, 6, 7? Operate?
Not for fertility issue.
First class. Fertility we are talking about. We are in a fertility conference. Okay,
Dr.
next.
Kundan, now we have to...
Finished?
Yeah.
Finished.
Dr.
have done
Manjushri has got an important announcement, and we also have lunch and then plenary, just to let everybody know.
Sarita,
So can we have a group photograph with the panelists? And the moderator?
We haven't finished it. We have to say thank you to them.
Acha, so
Anyway, okay. There was one question to the audience, but we forget it.
Let it be. We will stop here, Kundan,
Sure.
because we have one very important ceremony to be conducted in this hall just immediately after this panel is over. So thank you very much to all esteemed panelists, and from Amravati Obstetric Gynec Society, I extend my heartfelt thanks to everyone, each one of you personally, and to all the audience.
And really thanks for giving genuine answers.
And
we thank our moderators for such an interactive.
Yeah, thank you, Kundan.